Into the lessons, we will learn how to multiply matrices and find the inverse. So let's say that we have a matrix A is 1, -1, 2, 0, and a matrix B is 2, 0, -3, 1. In order to multiply matrices, the side of the column of the first matrix needs to be the same as the row of the second matrix. So this is the rule I'm talking about. So let's say the side of the matrix A is let's say 2 by 3. Okay, and the size of a matrix B is 3 by 1. So if we multiply A and B, then now make sure that you understand the concept of how we multiply the matrices. So the size of A and B is 2 by 3. Then you're going to multiply that with the side of the matrix B, 3 by 1. So again, this is matrix A and this is matrix B. So whenever that you have the row, again, this is row. We learned this before. This is column, and this is the row, and this is column. So whenever the column of the first matrix and the row of the second matrix is the same, so it's like this. So these two numbers must be the same. So that very important. You cannot just multiply any matrices. So if you multiply this, this is going to become the answers. The answers of the matrix is going to be 2 by 1. So basically, you're going to cancel the 1. So you took this out. So you took these two numbers out, and this became the matrix 2 by 1. Okay. So let's talk about the matrix B time matrix A. Let's just switch this around and see what we got. Okay, so let's say the matrix B 3 by 1. Yeah, then you multiply that with a matrix 2 by 3. So these two numbers here are not the same. They're not matching. So you cannot multiply. So it's very important. You got these concepts. You cannot multiply. Alright, so let's make sure that we have the correct size of the matrices before we multiply in the problem that we have over here. So this is the side is 2 by 2. And the side of this matrix B over here is also 2 by 2. So now if you multiply that, then these two numbers need to be the same right here. Okay, so the row and the column of the second matrix is the same, so we cross this out totally. So the answer is going to be 2 by 2. Okay, so this is the answer of your matrix is going to be 2 by 2. Alright, let's multiply the matrices. So we're going to do matrix A time with the matrix B. So how we multiply the matrix again? We're going to multiply. So when we multiply, we're going to multiply. I'm going to write the rules over here. Multiply each element, row, multiply the column. So here we go. So we're going to put the bracket like this. So we know it's going to be 2 by 2. So this is the row. Okay. So this way is the row. Okay. And it goes straight down. So we go, this is the column. So make sure you understand that. Alright, so we're going to multiply that and we'll get the numbers here. Alright, so we're going to multiply 1 times 2. Be careful now. And then plus -1 times -3. I have said it many times that you need to keep the negative number in the bracket. So I multiplied this row with the first column. And now let's see if I can use different colors. Is there any other color that I can choose from? Maybe this one. Alright, so I'm going to multiply, keep continue on this row again. I'm going to multiply with the next column. So it's going to be 1 times 0 plus -1 times 1. On the bottom, I'm going to pick the second row and I'm going to multiply with this. So it's going to be 2 times 2 plus 0 times -3. The next one, I'm going to multiply the second row by the second column. So it'll be 2 times 0 plus 0 times 1. Alright, now we're going to simplify everything. So this is matrix A times matrix B. So 1 plus 2. 2 plus 2 negative multiply be positive. The next one will be 0 and nothing but -1. This one is 4 plus 0. And this is 2 plus 0. So it's 2. Then I'm continue to simplify a little bit further. So it'll be 5, -1, 4, 2. Alright, we are moving on to what about B times A? What about we taking the matrix B, we time with the matrix A? Let's see what it's gonna be. So in in the previous year or any year that you've been taking math classes, anytime that when you multiply 2 times 3, it's going to be the same as you multiply 3 times 2. It's equal to 6. But let's see if it's the same thing for multiply matrices. So remember now we multiply B first. So you have to switch the order of the matrix B and then A. So for this one, I'm going ahead and I'm going to switch it. Okay, so I'm going to have the matrix B is 2, 0, and then -3, 1. That's matrix B. And now time with the matrix A, which is 1, -1, 2, 0. Again, this is matrix B time this is matrix A. Alright, so I'm going to multiply this. So I'm going to take in like this. So the row times the column of this. Okay, there's one right there. Okay, so be 2. That's going to multiply a little bit faster now. So 2 plus 0. Because 0 times 2. Move on to the next one. So be -2 plus 0. The bottom one is -3. The bottom one being you taking this one and you multiply with that. So -3 plus 2 The next one is negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 3 plus 0. So what's the answer is going to be? 2, negative 2, negative 1, 3. Alright, let's take a look and then we compare. So this is, we want to compare this with this. Compare those two. So they look at those two matrices. The answer of the A times B and then B times A. They're not nothing the same. So we conclude that A times B is not the same as B times A. So do not make this mistake. Okay, those two matrices, it's important to have them in order. If they're not in order, then you have a problem there. So identities matrix is, we got the letter I, is when you have number 1 like this. So this is 2 by 2 identity. Okay, or we can have 3 by 3. So we have 1, 1, 1. We have 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, so if you have a diagonal, use a highlight here. If you have a diagonal like this, all the diagonal numbers equal to 1 and everywhere else is equal to 0, we call identity matrix. So just to know what identity matrix is. So it's get really complicated if you move on to the matrix 3 by 3 or higher. You're probably going to need a calculator for those. But 2 by 2, we have to know how to do it by hand. And later on in class, I will show you how to use a calculator to find to do some operations with the matrices. So now let's say that we have matrix A is side 2 by 2. So, okay, so we're gonna have the number element A, B, C, D. Okay. Then the determinant is, you're going to multiply across. So you do this, subtract that. So they're going to be equal to A times D minus B times C. So the determinant in the shortcut we write as DET, and then we put the matrix in a bracket like this, or we can write down A with the 2 straight bar. 1 times 4 minus 2 times 2. This is going to be 4 minus 4 is equal to 0. Okay. So finding the inverse of a matrix 2 by 2. Other matrix size 2 by 2s. So what is the inverse? So let's say given a matrix A, okay, the inverse of a matrix A is A to the negative 1. So then if we multiply A times A negative 1, is going to be equal to identity matrix. So now we need to find that inverse. Solutions. So now to find the inverse of A, we need to use this formulas right over here. So you need to remember this one. The formula is the inverse is going to be equal to 1 over the determinant of the matrix A, and then you're going to multiply with you make sure you switch this. So D and A. So you switch A and D, and then you're gonna switch the side. The place they stay the same. That you can switch it. Okay. Confused. So A inverse. So first we need to find the determinant of A. Okay, so we've 1, and then we're gonna determinant of the matrix A. Now, how do we switch this matrix? So here we go. So the original, this is gonna be A, B, C, D. So now I'm gonna switch those. Okay, so I'm gonna switch this to 0, 1. So I switch A and element D. Now B and C stay the same. I just have to switch the size. So -1. It was -1 for B. Now I'm switched to -1 turn into +1. Now +2 switch into a -2. So I'm taking care of that matrix that I need to multiply. Okay. So now I'm going to find the determinant of A. So in the previous example, we did an example. So now we just have to find the determinant. So we're going to multiply across A times D. So it'll be 1 times 0 minus -1 times 2. So let's continue to simplify this. 1 times 0 is 0. -1 times 2 is -2. And then the negative be +2. So the answer is 2. So now we have everything we needed to find the inverse. Just plug the numbers in, and then we're going to multiply this out. So the inverse of A will be 1 over 2. Again, I'm bringing the 2 some over here. And then I'm going to have 0, 1, -2, 1. You have to multiply that in. This is what we call scalar. Multiply. In the previous lessons, video lessons. Okay, so now you don't know how to multiply the scalar to a matrix. The lessons is in the previous video lessons. So let's multiply this. So to multiply them in, so 1/2 times 0, and over here have 1/2 times 1, 1/2 times -2. Keep the -2 in the bracket. 1/2 times 1. And I'm going to keep simplifying this. So 0, 1 over 2. This is going to give me -1. This is going to give me 1/2. So this is the inverse of the matrix A.